Well, it can be hard to keep all of the elections bill that are under consideration right now together to keep them all straight. There are more than 70 of them that are pending at the state capitol, including 4 that passed the state senate today.
11 Alive's Doug Richards explains why some getting a lot of attention and a lot of criticism.
Voter ID, absentee voting, even early voting on Sundays. Bills pending on those issues would either amount to voter suppression or election security, depending on your point of view.
We're hearing from our voters that have lost confidence.
Brad Carver is a Republican.
There was no widespread voter fraud.
Sally Harrell is a Democrat. At issue is whether Georgia should pass bills that would make voting more difficult.
It is about efficiency and security and election integrity and allowing the Georgia public to have confidence in the vote.
Republicans say voters lost confidence after Donald Trump lost Georgia in November. To restore voter confidence, they've introduced measures that would, among other things, shorten the window for absentee voting, require voters to give reasons to request an absentee ballot, and restrict early voting, including eliminating Sunday voting.
The outlawing of Sunday voting will have a disparate impact on Black voters and voters of color.
Many Black churches in Georgia produced programs they called Souls to the Polls, sending folks straight from church into early voting sites.
Eliminating Sunday voting in one day on Saturday is a direct message to Black voters here in the state of Georgia, as well as the Black church, that our faith in this democratic process is not considered during this hearing.
And I probably had a lot of friends before today.
The range of Republican election bills drew a tearful rebuke from a longtime Democratic lawmaker from Macon.
Every last one of the election bills about the election didn't turn out the way y'all want, and you want to perpetuate the lie that Trump told.
Senator David Lucas entered the legislature when Gerald Ford was president. Though the Senate passed 4 election bills by early afternoon, the measures that really worry the critics, including the ban on Sunday voting, are still pending.